So I don't know if it's tiredness or the fact that I'm a bit overwhelmed, but I'm really struggling tonight. I finished uni 40 minutes ago. It's now 8:10. And I'm back in Rugeley, but I'm not ready to go home for a lot of reasons. I think I'm really missing Cal. I'm really struggling to deal with the fact that he's gone and the fact that I'm kind of the one who had to take ownership of that. There's a girl on the course who's got a 6-month-old border collie puppy who looks an awful lot like Kel. We've been having conversations about traits that they have in common, and she offered for me to go and see him with her at lunchtime today, and I couldn't. It's just too much. I will. I'll make myself, but it's too much at the moment. Yeah, I'm having to drive past the vets twice every time I go to and from uni, twice a week. And every time I go past, I tell him I miss him and I love him. Which is probably stupid, because I don't have any of that kind of belief system. But I feel I owe it to him. And then there's other complications. Like, I feel like I'm in the middle of a triangle at the moment of homes, or not homes as the case is. So we've got Mum and Dad's house, which is not, I will always call it home, but it's not my home. It never will be again. I think too much has changed. I feel awkward going back there. I can only really go back there when Daz is otherwise occupied. So he's on nights at the moment. I can't go to where we're currently staying without him. So I could go to the new flat, but it's not ready. I'm not really ready to spend a night there on my own either. So it's back to the parents' house tonight to be with Kite and the rabbits. But the complications there are my relationship with my father, which is kind of broken at the moment. Don't get me wrong, we're both trying, but struggling, a bit strained. And then there's the politics between him and my husband, which I don't know if that'll ever get better. He's pretty adamant that it won't. The old man's being diplomatic. But what happened with Celt and my father, in some ways, it's not that I blame my father or that he blames me, but it's just awkward. And it's churning me up an awful lot. But it's been a long couple of days. I was out 8:15 yesterday morning, uni, back from uni, took himself to work, basically straight from that to a life drawing class, and then crashed at the parents'. And then this morning, picked him up at 6, back to uni, early doors, parked up, got the train to Birmingham for a talk at the Icon, which was good. I enjoyed it. Back to uni, mad rush, grab something to eat on the run. Seminar, which was more of a lecture. We actually had a lecture on what a seminar is for about 30 minutes of the so-called seminar. Sounds great, doesn't it? And then another lecture. The avant-garde's making slightly more sense. Starting to identify bits and pieces that might be relevant. What do you look like, you knob? Yeah, so I've written down kind of like a flow diagram, passive, functional objects, the artist as being functional, which I think sort of cracked the flow of the Soviet side of things. Maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to correct me if anyone's actually listening this far in. With a lot of reading to do, a lot of writing to do, and a real ton of actual practical work to do, except I don't necessarily know what that is yet. But I am having ideas. There was something at the exhibition I looked at today that might be relevant as a reference, so that was good. There was an idea that was already forming to do with the light patterns that I keep encountering from the trains in this house. But having to find a way to reconstruct them, because I can't, with just this phone, which you can see isn't great in low light, I can't record it. I don't have my camera with me, and I'm not prepared to have my camera with me there. It's safer where it is. There's someone who's forgotten to turn his lights back on, as always is the way at supermarkets. So this is just headspace, really. Before I go home, I ought to grab something to eat. I had nothing but a pastry and a pre-packed sandwich today. I'm going to go and see my little girl. Give my bunnies a scratch. And then tomorrow they can all have some quality time while Daz sleeps. But then again, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I've got a bed to build for one thing. I don't know. Kind of wish that someone could just do it all for me. It's all so bloody complicated. Too many conflicts. It's really splitting me up. I married himself for a reason. I don't just give up on things. It was the life I chose. And I still do, but I can't just... It's like turning a sheet of paper over and starting on the other side, forgetting what's on the other side. I can't do it. I'm certainly not prepared to rip it up. My parents are not young people. I'm just worried that I don't want the way things are at the moment to be the way that things are left for good. So it needs work. But it's difficult. And so is doing an MA in 1 year, so it seems. We'll get there.